Since I posted my last video, I got a lot of requests to do another video like that, but for taggers and for supports. And as you can tell by the title, it's taggers this time. But before I start, I just want to say that if you join my Discord, which should be in the description, you can get all the little guide cards for yourself. Let's get started. So the first tagger we're starting with today is going to be Wizard Cookie. I will throw his guide up on screen right now. Cool, let's go. His best artifact is going to be the Forgotten Grimoire, and that's because it buffs up his skill and his ultimate, providing himself not only crit rate, but also ultimate damage. His second best artifact is going to be Newest Formula, which isn't a bad second option considering his ultimate can lower the elemental resistance of his type. Meaning in the future, when we get a light fighter, this will be super strong. The final viable artifact is going to be Path of Training, which is great because when his ultimate hits enemies 5 times, his team gets increased attack. If you can't tell, the common theme with Wizard Cookie is buffing his ultimate up. His best weapon is going to be the Magic Candy Wand, which is his unique weapon, with his best set of equipment being Solar Knight's armor. Ghost Captain's Garb is also viable, but Solar Knight's armor will be better because Wizard Cookie is more so of a secondary damage dealer. And because he already lowers the resistance of enemies so much, he wants the light damage over the defense reduction. For epic equipment, you want to focus on the unique abilities of attack, crit rate, and crit damage, with his best hidden powers being debuff amp, light attack, and crit rate / crit damage. And finally, his best teammates will be Lemon Zest once he comes out, Rockstar, and Pistachio. The next cookie I'll be covering is Plantain Cookie, whose guide should be on screen right now. I have no idea what else to say for transitions. Yeah. His best artifact is going to be a fulfilling meal. And this is because it increases party-wide wind damage when he applies an elemental tag, making him a really good tagger for Rye Cookie. His second best artifact is going to be Path of Training, as because he has a multi-hit ultimate, when it hits 5 times, it will increase his party's attack. His final viable artifact is going to be Newest Formula, which is same in principle as his signature, as it lowers wind resistance whenever his ultimate hits an enemy, again making him an ideal tagger for Rye. As his unique, the sturdy Bananarang is going to be his best weapon, with Wind Spirit's attire being his best equipment set as it increases his own wind damage. But a more supporty build could go Ghost Captain's Garb to reduce enemies' defense. For the epic equipment unique ability, you want to focus on crit rate, crit damage, and attack, with his best hidden powers being crit rate, crit damage, and wind attack. Debuff Amp is also really good, but only if you have his 2nd star promotion. And finally, his teammates are going to be Rye Cookie, Chamomile Cookie, and Rockstar Cookie. The next cookie on my list is Alchemist Cookie. Her guide will be on screen right now. Insert transition here. Her best artifact is going to be Newest Formula. It's really good not only because it's her signature, but also because her ultimate stays on the field, she can proc its effects a lot more. Her second best would be Warrior's Oath, as when she's paired up with Dark Choco or Werewolf Cookie, she gets that massive elemental damage increase. Her final viable artifact is going to be Path of Training, as like every tagger before her, because her ultimate stays on the field and hits a lot of times, her team can easily get that increased attack. Her best weapon is going to be her unique Suspicious Alchemy Flask. If it's not abundantly clear, this is the case for every single cookie in the game. Her best equipment set is going to be Ghost Captain's Garb, and because she's an off-field character, she gets a lot of use out of that defense shred by using her skill, as it allows her to support her team. But if you'd rather increase her own damage, Count of Darkness Apparel is good for that. Her best epic equipment unique abilities are going to be attack and elemental damage, but crit rate and crit damage are alright if the other two are not possible. Her best hidden powers are going to be attack and dark attack. Her best hidden powers are going to be attack and dark attack, with her best teammates being Dark Choco, Werewolf, and Rockstar. The next cookie we have up is Gumball Cookie. His guide will be up on screen right now. Let's do this, I guess. His best artifact is going to be Newest Formula, as it gives him the ability to decrease enemies' elemental res even further with his ultimate, making him even better for cream soda. His second best is going to be Path of Training, which works perfectly with him due to his ultimate actually hitting exactly 5 times. And if all 5 of these hit, then he increases his party's attack. The final viable artifact is Artistic Flourish, as it increases his every 3rd basic attack damage. This is by far the least recommended. His best weapon is going to be the Chewy Gumball Cannon, as it's, well, his weapon. His best equipment set is going to be Sea Mermaid's Regalia, as it increases his already high burst damage. But Ghost Captain's Garb is also viable if you want him to instead reduce enemies' defense. His ideal hidden powers are going to be Debuff Amp, Water Attack, and Crit Rate / Crit Damage, with his best teammates being the infamous Cream Soda and Rockstar. The next cookie up is Twisted Donut. His guide should be on screen right now. Alright, let's get into the most delicious, cute cookie. Just look how tasty. His best artifact is Peculiar Invention. And despite its default stat being HP, it's really good because whenever he's around his summoned unit, aka his turret, he gains increased attack and defense. His second best artifact is going to be Warrior's Oath, which will increase his elemental damage by a lot whenever he's with any other Earth units. His final viable artifact is Sunset Pursuit, as any and all direct hits from himself or his turret will increase his attack and elemental damage. His most edible weapon will be the Twisted Donut Wrench, which is his unique. His best set is going to be Ghost Captain's Garb, as his turret can proc the enemy defense reduction skill. But like before, if you'd rather increase his own damage, Earth Descendant's Vestment is also viable. His best epic equipment unique abilities are going to be Attack, Elemental Damage, and Crit Rate / Crit Damage, with his best hidden powers being Earth Damage, Crit Rate / Crit Damage, and Defense Penetration. And finally, his best teammates are going to be Sting Durian and Rockstar. The next cookie up is going to be Cherry Cookie. Her guide should be up on screen. Artifact time. Her best artifact is going to be Warrior's Oath. As you are typically going to be running her with other fire cookies, she will always be getting that 16 to 24% elemental damage increase. But Path of Training is a second viable option, because like every other tagger, her ultimate hits a gazillion times, which means that attack increase is really easy to achieve. And Sweetness Explosion is her final. The reason why it's not her best is she doesn't want to be on field too long to actually benefit from it, meaning it's really not that great, even though it's kind of made for her. Her best weapon is going to be Ripe Cherry Bomb, which is her unique. Her best equipment set is going to be Fire Demon's Raiment, as it increases her overall burn damage. But for the 6th time, Ghost Captain's Garb is also pretty good. The defense reduction is nice, especially when you pair her up with Chili Pepper. Her ideal epic equipment unique abilities are going to be Attack, Elemental Damage, and Crit Rate / Crit Damage, with her best hidden powers being Attack and Fire Attack. Crit Rate and Crit Damage are alright, but her burn can't crit, therefore you want to avoid it if possible. And finally, her best teammates are going to be Chili Pepper and Crushed Pepper. The absolute final cookie on my list is going to be Ninja Cookie. His guide is on screen. Let's hop into it. His best artifact is going to be the Path of Training, as his multi-hit ultimate allows him to get the increased attack for his allies, with Warrior's Oath being a good second and final, as you will be running him with at least one other win cookie, meaning he gets that nice elemental damage bonus. His best weapon is going to be his unique Swift Ninja Shuriken, with his best set being Ghost Captain's Garb. This is because he has a pretty low damage output, so you don't really get anything from going when Spirit's Attire, but it is still a second viable option. The epic equipment unique abilities you want to aim for should be Crit Rate / Crit Damage, Elemental Damage, and Attack, with his ideal hidden powers reflecting that being Crit Rate, Crit Damage, Wind Attack, and Elemental Damage, with his ideal teammates being Rye, Chamomile, and Rockstar. Well, that's it. Before you guys go, I have a few more words. If you enjoyed, a like and a subscribe would be appreciated, but not necessary. For my support guide, if you join the Discord server, I will be releasing the little guide cards there early, and by early I mean before the video releases. Also, you get notified if I'm streaming on YouTube or Twitch, and discuss various builds and things. Also, I don't want to do this every time we hit a major milestone, but thank you guys for 500 subscribers. Again, massive milestone, so thank you. Okay, until next time.